Sitting at my desk back in my office, it seems like a dream now. Waking up with nothing to do except hike through the woods, stare at everything, and create beauty from beauty. I wasn't sure what to expect. Since sometime last year, I've had the intention to take a few days' journey just to paint. But I accidentally found myself fulfilling this dream when I planned a group camping trip that no one could make it to. Sometimes fate helps me out like that. Me and my paints alone in the woods? Sign me up. But would I be okay? Was the world safe? Would weirdos try to bother me? Would I feel alone? I didn't put a second chair out, an imaginary companion to ward off unwanted attention. I built a fire both nights from just leaves, no fire starter, which made me proud of myself. I still got it. There was a random 8 months or so that I built a campfire almost every day. I can confirm that I do not miss it, but I'll enjoy it if I have to. And I sat in my one chair. I contemplated life, ate my dinner, and read my book. Proud of myself. I've done a lot of inner child healing work, shadow work, meditation, and the like to sort out the truth from the fears within me. I'm still working on it. Let's get to the itinerary. The first day, I did a waterfall hike. The first night, late at night, I fell asleep really happy. There's a cheeky sort of contentedness available to those who get away with normal things that they were told not to do. I don't mean bad things, just normal life things. Don't go camping alone, don't hike alone, don't swim alone. But in a safe way, go out there and have a personal rebellion. This will look different to everyone, but even in tiny ways, push yourself towards the things you once dreamed of.
I'm feeling blissed out right now, and I'm really glad that I'm able to bring you along on this artist dream come true, artist adventure.
This whole trail is just a bunch of steps, climbing up, and looking at all the waterfalls. When I got home about a week later, after the rush to catch up on everything had faded, I became acutely aware of that loneliness. Being back at home within my four walls felt way lonelier than out on the trail or river or ridge. Was it the activities that kept me busy, but something else? The vitality of nature, is that a solve for loneliness? Or does the physical isolation decrease loneliness, whereas sitting in town or in a group of people but not laughing together simply highlight it? I might put a little more thought into this and let you know. Or what do you think? Does it all boil down to expectations? I've recovered now, but I was blue for a few days. Or was it me just coming down off the dopamine high of all that hiking, all the mental and visual stimulation? Or to quote myself, I just want the love to come from outside myself. Or is that underlying and ferocious belief that there should be someone waiting for me at home? Sigh. This is the big waterfall, which means it's lunchtime. but it means I have to get down there, and almost everyone who went in front of me slipped here.
Daydream with me, let your mind explore all the things we were created for. Possibilities, an open door that keeps us reaching out for more. Don't know it, so I listen for my inner voice. Carry the winds, drown out the rain.
Anyways, back to the good stuff. The leaves left, right, above, and below. This was the main purpose, to see the leaves around the waterfalls. The waterfalls, they get me every time. I forget how big they are until I walk up to them again. So much water rushing around me. It's so peaceful and so relaxing, especially when I crawl out onto the rocks. I feel the weight of gravity holding me down onto the rocks, the same gravity that forces the water to rush all around me. This part of the trail was near the top, but I still had to walk all the way back down the other side. I was pretty peaceful and content after all the hiking and all the time in nature.
Through the arbor, in the garden room, wings are beating, baby, me and you.
So I'm about halfway through the hike. I'm a little worried about time, but I don't really need to be. And I hope you're having fun. I kind of wish I brought my laptop, because then I would just be editing tonight and cutting this, but lesson learned. This is a beautiful, beautiful, magical forest. And I think it's going to be a great next half of the day. Because filming and focusing on art is so good for me.
All through the stages, both becoming seen.
But often in these moments, when I'm pushing up against life like this, I take a moment to bring up my inner child into my awareness and tell her how happy I am. Feel that happiness soaking into each and every deep, dark corner and far, far edge of my being. I tell her how she gets to do everything she ever wanted to do. She gets to be that woman. In this moment, all her dreams are coming true, and that motivates me to keep trucking, to keep working on my projects, to keep editing, to keep talking. We're barely even getting into the good stuff now. I have to trust that I have the acumen to see it through.
In the heavens, a billion signals move.
And just when I don't think the world can get any more beautiful, The water gets calmer and I see twice as much beauty because the whole world is reflected in the water.
Slowly we take on phosphorescence, vivid in the bond, phosphorescence. Midnight halos twist tied together, turning over, so close together. Midnight halo.
Guys, it's just so beautiful. I'm not sure if I'm gonna catch that color balance, but it's so fantastically beautiful here.
Twist tied together, turning over, so close together.
Sometimes the shot just finds me.
Slowly we take on phosphorescence.
That bridge is the parking lot.
The second day, I did a pretty intense hike.
The trail so far is just like leaf covered, a pretty bumpy hillside trail. I'm hoping to get some really good views of the river up here. I left a route map in my car in case I disappear, someone will be able to find me. I carry bear spray and a knife, and I've got the most important tool of all, my mind. So making good choices, and I'm excited to see what this day has in store. This is a new trail for me, so I'm pretty excited, and I just hope to get some cool scenery and some cool tiny details along the way. So thank you for joining, and we'll be painting this afternoon. I mean, this is pretty grade A scenery. We got the ridge, we got all the leaves. It's pretty happy.
Pretty soon, the trail became almost comically rocky, like a lot of the trails in Pennsylvania, where it's basically just the painted markers on a big field of rocks, and you just kind of pick your way through it.
Guys, this is funny, because this is the trail. It's all rocks, all the way up. And that's why I train every week, multiple days a week. So I can do the weird stuff like that.
Look ahead, the sea is calm, and I know we've been through a lot, but just wait. Wait for better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore.
map. The ground is all wet here because there's a spring. If you needed water, this is where you could get it.
She is sacred in the most delightful way, and I must honor her. I have that sort of relationship with nature, picking up trash, tending to things, and she gives me infinite tiny gifts in return. I find this pool of water. Since moving here, I'm face to face with the history of the United States. Since I'm always wandering through the woods, I hear the stories and it blows my mind. In Texas, it seemed like most of the shocks are more recent. But here, it's the old history, and I shudder. And I know that I'm here as part of a larger journey. I'm not sure exactly what that is yet. Nature speaks to you if you listen. You read the signs. And if you listen to it in the context of the stories you've been told, but with wider eyes, you can suss out the truth. You can see it unfold. You can compare the evidence with what you've been told. The truth moves me, and it calls me forward.
Do you hear the sound of the water? It's singing to us. It's saying something. Somebody built a pool full of water where you could refill. This was probably from one of the logging eras. And one of the tragedies of Pennsylvania is it's called the Keystone State because all of the iron was mined here and all the timber was cut here to basically build America way back in the day when everything was being built. And so when you're wandering through the woods, there's always these remnants, whether it's cabins, roads, old railroads, and it's all from that era, Keystone State. And the great tragedy to me is that, that's my shadow, the great tragedy to me is that they cut down all the good trees. So the only original growth forest left in Pennsylvania is down in the tiniest ridges, like the Waterfall Canyon we were at yesterday, where they literally just couldn't get in to cut the trees. Otherwise, they would have taken every single last one of them. And if that doesn't make you feel convoluted about our state's history as part of the history of the United States, the entire country and the entire expansion, colonialism, that theory, like God gave us the right to take over this land, if that doesn't make you want to cry when you walk through the woods, then I don't know what will. But I feel like as joyful and as happy as I feel here, I also feel a tragic, heavy sadness when I consider what has been done to this land. And I can't talk about the trees without talking about the people, because there's places around here with their memories, but there's very few original peoples left. I really need to find out, because there were the boarding schools, but there's still families here that are left, and there's still the powwows and things. Like my father's lineage, oh man, we gotta sit down to talk about this baby. But I guess that's why I'm here in the woods. And this is about as good a place as any. One thing I've noticed since coming to Pennsylvania, which is a shock to me, is that there's families here who have been here from the beginning. Like I've talked to those adults whose generations go back 300 years. With my family lineage, you can see the geographical changes. Like everyone keeps moving on and on until my dad ended up in Texas, and then I was born overseas. And the grandparents and grandchildren have not been buried together on either side of my lineage since about 1700s, from everything I can tell. And that makes me really sad. I think my generation might be the first one that's at least buried like within a couple-hour drive. And you just see that shock and disconnection.
So I thought the medicine for me was rooting and being stable and secure in one place, which might be part of it. But one thing I've learned from those really old families is that there's still weird cuts and disconnection.
One thing I see is the cut, the tragedy. The American tragedy is we were all cut off from our roots. Like the great-grandparents, the grandparents didn't teach the children their native tongue, their European languages. And if you go back to 1700s, even in Europe, there were like all these local dialects. It wasn't just French in France. Every little region, every village had their own little thing. Like some of my roots are Germanic, and it wasn't like everybody was just speaking German. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, they had all these like beautiful little dialects. Like you could tell what region someone came from. And you can still tell with the accent, but the language wasn't unified like it is now. Like we lost all that regional delight. And especially when those generations came to America, there was this whole melting pot theory of like cut off your native tongue and a lot of shame. Like if they know we're German, they're gonna hate us. If they know we're whatever country, we have to erase it because it's dangerous. And I think that goes all the way back to conversion by the sword when the Roman Empire came up into Germany. I think that's where some of my corporal fear of hell and corporal fear of not fitting in started. Because convert or die, right? Serve the empire or die. And the ones who survived, like anyone alive, came from the ones who survived, who are the ones that weren't killed in a rebellion. We were the ones that submitted, accepted the new identity, accepted the new language, and hid the grandparents who didn't want that, and forced the children to we forced the children to also fit in. And that's a huge part of my journey, is stopping fitting in. Like, the world can get used to me, the world can adjust to me now. And that's why I'm telling my story, because I want everyone to sit with that corporal fear of being rejected. I think it's historical. I don't think it's like an evolution. I don't think it's necessarily an evolutionary community, like, you know, like the community became the evolution, so you have to fit in the village to survive. I think that is relatively modern. I think that came with the empire, the imperial states of the world. That's not inherently human. I think in healthy, non-imperial, small villages, we celebrate uniqueness and we celebrate the wonder and delight because everyone is bringing their gifts and their perspectives, and the world is so beautiful, and when we see it from everyone's angle, we see the complete picture, and it's so beautiful. It's breathtaking, like the woods out here. In its natural state, there's infinite variety, there's infinite languages, you know, if every rock, leaf, and tree could speak. And the goal is not to conform, the goal is to celebrate the new growth, the old growth, every fractal, every tiny expression of life. That's what we're here for. We're not here to conform. All that to say is, we all have this disconnection, and I think diving back in and celebrating those roots and searching them out and examining the tragedies we were victim to, but also the tragedies that we, and I speak like in our lineages, in our family histories, also observing and grieving the tragedies that we were part of, and the tragedies that are ongoing where we force other people to disconnect from themselves and force people to conform to what we want rather than just, you know, be themselves, celebrate their own tradition, history, and language. So I'm all for. There's a truck driving by. They're trying to drown me out. I'm all for celebrating uniqueness and expressing uniqueness, and that's what we're on the journey for that. So I really hope you follow along and you find life in this message, and that you find kindness and you extend that kindness towards yourself to express yourself, and then kindness towards everyone around you who's also expressing themselves and their histories. And we gotta make peace there isn't enough room on this planet to keep fighting and keep pushing. We have to make peace, we have to make love, find ourselves and find the people next to you, truly cherish them, cherish yourself. That's the message, guys. All right, let's keep hiking. This has been so much fun. This has been such an unexpected journey, but when I started on this trail, I set the intention to speak to the forest spirits, and I think that's what they're telling me. Woo! Woo! Come on. This is what we're here for. I asked to see the most unique thing in the forest, and I found this. What is it? And it's coming from this. No surprise that there's a heart.
Since getting home, I did a little research. The originals are gone, the Susquehannock people from central Pennsylvania, which is where I was hiking. And we don't even have their endonym. The name Susquehannock was just what the translator used to describe them, though some members may have assimilated with other tribes. The Lenape Nation of Pennsylvania, however, mostly in the eastern region of PA, New Jersey, and Delaware, is working on gaining legal recognition and also preserving their culture and language. You can support them here at lenapenation.org. At this point, I'm only about halfway through my hike for the day and about halfway through my 3-day solo camping art retreat. But I'm going to save the rest of the journey for next week on Thursday. So please like and subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be notified for when the second half of this video comes out. Thank you for watching, and I trust that you are satisfied by your own journey as well.